Crystal Palace makes telling Mark Guhi decision amid Liverpool transfer talks. Liverpool is set to continue talks for a potential transfer for Mark Guhi, with Crystal Palace's decision ahead of its Premier League opener against Chelsea speaking volumes. Crystal Palace defender Mark Guhi. The future of Mark Guhi remains up in the air, but it's clear just how highly the Liverpool target is still rated by his current club. The defender has been selected to start Crystal Palace's Premier League opener against Chelsea today, having also captained the Eagles to the Community Shield against Arne Slot's side last weekend at Wembley. The decision to start the England international may come as a slight surprise to some, given the speculation around a potential exit from Selhurst Park has grown over the last week, and it seems Liverpool won't be deterred by Palace's continued reliance on him. According to BBC Sports' Sami Mokbel, the Reds will recommence talks over a potential transfer for Guehi on Monday. With just a little over 2 weeks to go until the summer window closes, time is running out Palace to secure a fee for the defender, with his contract expiring next year. Yet that hasn't deterred them or manager Oliver Glasner from continuing to select him, with his situation seemingly a far cry from the one facing Newcastle and Alexander Isak. The fact that Palace's boss would willingly risk Guehi picking up an injury and jeopardize what could be the last chance to receive some money for him speaks volumes about just how important the 25-year-old is to the Eagles, even at this early stage of the season. Liverpool has been in talks over a potential transfer for Mark Guhi. Fabrizio Iza's inclusion has also raised eyebrows, given he is being increasingly linked with a move to Tottenham, with Glasner apparently keen to keep hold of his biggest stars. Palace chairman Steve Parish, though might be a little concerned, especially in the case of Guehi, having admitted last weekend that the defender would likely have to move on this summer. For players of that caliber to leave on a free, it is a problem for a football club, Parish said. There is no doubt about it, unfortunately. Liverpool set Alexander Isak deadline after transfer agreement. The latest Liverpool transfer news and gossip, including updates on Alexander Isak and Mark Guhi. Alexander Isak is admired by Liverpool. Liverpool have reportedly set a deadline for a move for Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak. The Reds have been long-term admirers of the Sweden international and appeared to have been handed a boost in their pursuit this summer. This came after the bombshell that Isak had informed Newcastle of his desire to explore his options. He has since been axed from Eddie Howe's team and was the subject of a £110 million transfer bid from Liverpool. With Newcastle adamant he is not for sale, despite Isak's apparent insistence that he will never play for them again, the Reds' hierarchy are, as things stand, not preparing a second offer. That said, Arne Slot's side are reported to have set a deadline. According to journalist Sasha Tavaleri, Liverpool have told Newcastle that if no agreement is reached by next week, they will move on to other targets. Isak was not part of the Newcastle squad for the 0-0 draw with Aston Villa earlier on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Mirror suggests that the Sweden international has earned himself a punishment through refusal to play, while TalkSport add that even if the striker is not allowed to leave this summer, he will still refuse to play for the club again. Elsewhere, club officials are said to still be working on a move for Mark Guhi of Crystal Palace. Providing an update on his YouTube channel, Romano claimed that conversations are ongoing with Palace after reaching an agreement with the defender. On Liverpool, I insist they are still working for Mark Guhi, Romano said on YouTube. There's still a conversation ongoing with Crystal Palace. Still a conversation ongoing with the player side because the agreement with the player is okay, from what I'm hearing. Still waiting to see what happens club to club. But Mark Guhi wants to go to Liverpool. If it's not now, it's going to be in the future. Liverpool, dangerous Guhi outcome revealed in new plan amid two reasons for fresh time frame. Crystal Palace captain Mark Guhi and the Liverpool badge. According to reports, Mark Guhi's proposed move from Crystal Palace to Liverpool is set to be delayed, as a dangerous outcome to this saga is mooted. The England international has been heavily linked with Liverpool during this summer's transfer window, as he is one of the best center-backs in the Premier League and among the most valuable footballers who could become a free agent in 2026. With Guehi unlikely to pen a new contract, it has been suggested that Crystal Palace are open to cashing in on the defender, though they have remained bullish on their £40 million asking price. Liverpool are this summer's biggest spenders in Europe, with the signing of 18-year-old defender Giovanni Leone taking their investment to around £290 million. Arne Slot's side have turned their attention to strengthening in defense as they wait on Newcastle United outcast Alexander Isak, with it suggested that they could sign Leone and Guehi before the summer's window closes. Liverpool arguably have room for each player following Jarell Quansah's move to Bayer Leverkusen, while Ibrahima Konate is attracting interest from Real Madrid ahead of his contract expiry in 2026. Despite this, a report from Football Insider claims Liverpool have a new plan for Guehi, as this transfer is likely to be delayed by 12 months. The report claims there are two factors to ensure that this is the likely outcome of this saga. Football Insider revealed on the 15th of August that Liverpool had reopened talks with Crystal Palace for Guehi as they try to negotiate a transfer fee, but the Eagles have refused to renege on their £40 million price tag. Liverpool have added to their defensive stocks by signing 18-year-old Giovanni Leone from Parma, and sources have told Football Insider that this could potentially see their move for Guehi delayed by a year. Football Insider's Peter O'Rourke has explained why this is dangerous for Crystal Palace. Liverpool have another centre-back now, with Giovanni Leone moving to Anfield from Parma, a young player, O'Rourke told Football Insider. I don't think that will stop Liverpool pursuing this move for Guehi, but it's a dangerous one for Palace because Guehi is more than happy to stay and see out his contract, and that might suit Liverpool. They can look at it again next summer and take Guehi on a free, and for Guehi himself, it's a big season ahead. He won't want to move from Palace if he's not guaranteed first-team minutes. If Palace do drop their price tag, then maybe Liverpool would decide to push through a deal for Guehi. Newcastle fans told its business as Alexander Isak got to go Liverpool prediction made. Alexander Isak may have played his last game in a Newcastle shirt as he looks to move to Liverpool. Newcastle United fans have been told it's very much business after Alexander Isak set out their opening match of the new Premier League season. The Swede has downed tools in an effort to force through a move to Liverpool, but so far the Northeast club have stood firm with Arne Slot's side yet to meet their valuation. That impasse has put Isak in an awkward spot with the striker, who scored 23 Premier League goals last season, told to train separately and excluded from a preseason team bonding barbecue. Isak has also soured his relationship with the Newcastle fans, who have criticized his actions, but former Liverpool winger Joe Cole said, "It's very much business for players when it comes to getting a move. Newcastle fans will be sitting there thinking he's taking the liberty not wanting to play," Cole said on TNT Sports in the build-up to Newcastle's game away at Aston Villa. "When you put yourself in the young man's shoes, I think he's 25 now. If Liverpool, the champions, are coming for him, he might fancy it. I'd like to think myself in that situation. I think I wouldn't behave like he's behaved. But it's important to know that for fans at home, when you're a player, it's very much business." So his agent will be advising him, "Liverpool want you, Newcastle don't want to sell you. You do A, B, C, D, and E, and you can get out of the club." Cole also made the point that if it was the other way round, fans would not have a problem with their club forcing a player out. If Isak would have come in 3-4 years ago, whenever it was, and he didn't play well, they'd be trying to get him out the door. So it goes both ways. We've seen clubs ostracize players who are in long-term contracts and trying to make their life difficult to get them out the door. So clubs behave in that way, and when a player behaves in that way, he has to take the burden on. Cole was joined by another former Liverpool player in Peter Crouch, who took a much more dim view of Isak's actions, suggesting it is not the way to try and secure a move. "I don't think the way he's handled it has been correct in any way," Crouch said. "I remember when I was at Southampton, we'd been relegated and they tried to keep me, and I had to drive down to the chairman's house as he was not answering my calls. Obviously, I wanted to move to Liverpool. That was clear. I made my feelings clear on the situation, and in the end, that's what happened. But downing tools and saying you're not playing, staying away from the training ground is not the way to go about things. I just think it's a lack of professionalism." Crouch was then asked how he thinks the situation will be resolved, and he gave a got-to-go verdict. "I think he's got to go, hasn't he? You don't want a player like that, worth that much money, unwilling to play. If he's reintegrated, I think the players will take him back in. The fans might be a different story. Liverpool dealt Mark Guhi transfer twist after latest Crystal Palace update. Liverpool's pursuit of Crystal Palace could be hindered. Crystal Palace defender Mark Guhi. Liverpool's pursuit of Crystal Palace defender Mark Guhi could be hindered by Eberechi Eze's seemingly impending exit from Selhurst Park. The Reds opened talks with the Eagles earlier this week over a possible deal to bring Guhi to Anfield. The England international, 25, has less than 12 months remaining on his current deal at Selhurst Park, with Liverpool hopeful of being able to add him to their ranks for a fee in the region of £35 million. After last weekend's Community Shield clash between the Premier League champions and FA Cup winners at Wembley, Palace chairman Steve Parish said the speculation surrounding Guhi's future needed a new contract or a conclusion of some kind. However, Liverpool's hopes of signing Guhi before the September 1st transfer deadline could be dealt a blow after reports on Saturday afternoon claimed Eze has informed the club of his desire to leave Palace and join Tottenham Hotspur. Reports state that Eze, who has interest from Arsenal too, has agreed personal terms with the Europa League winners and is hopeful of joining Spurs' outfit before the end of the month. Parish, though, seems to have hinted that Palace will be unwilling to let too many star players leave in one window, which could lead to Guhi seeing out the final 12 months of his contract at Selhurst Park. Discussing the transfer food chain in the Premier League, Parish explained why Palace rejected 4 bids worth up to £65 million for the England international last summer. 1. For players of that caliber to leave on a free, it's a problem for us, unfortunately, said Palace of Guehi. Joachim Andersen went to Fulham last summer, and we couldn't afford to lose both. We then had another bid for Guhi in January, but that was a different situation. We'll just have to see what happens, but, it needs a new contract or a conclusion of some kind. On Friday, Liverpool completed the signing of Giovanni Leoni from Parma. Virgil van Dijk stands by Antoine Semeno and brands racist abuse absolute disgrace at Liverpool. Liverpool skipper Virgil van Dijk has pledged his support to Antoine Semeno after alleged racist abuse towards Bournemouth forward. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk has pledged to support Antoine Semeno however he can after the Bournemouth forward made allegations of racist abuse during Liverpool's 4-2 win at Anfield on Friday night. And the Reds captain has branded the incident an absolute disgrace, saying such behavior has no place in football. The Reds began the defense of their Premier League crown with a home victory over the Cherries, but the first half was brought to a halt after Semeno relayed the allegations to referee Anthony Taylor, who subsequently consulted with both managers in Arne Slot and Andoni Iraola pitchside. Semeno made the complaint after taking a throw-in near the main stand, and a police investigation into the incident is now underway, with a statement from Liverpool released shortly after full-time, confirming they are helping the authorities in their efforts. Slot condemned the alleged racism towards Semeno, who scored Bournemouth's 2 goals on the night. And speaking after the game, Van Dijk echoed the comments made by his boss and said he will help the Cherries star through the ordeal in whatever way he can. I've had loads of conversations with him about it, and first and foremost, I wanted to know what happened, and I am glad the authorities are dealing with it all. That is the main thing, Van Dijk said. But we stand with him completely, and I think every one of you here would say the same thing. These things can't happen. So anything he needs for support, I am here for him. We are all here for him, to be honest. But the club as well, and they are dealing with it in the right way. I am fully confident about that. Especially the authorities have to deal with it now. And like I said, these things can't happen whatsoever. No, I can't believe it. And I can say these things that it shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does, and it is an absolute disgrace in my eyes. Van Dijk added, first and foremost, these things should never happen in the world, not only football. I am happy to say I don't see it happening up until today, actually, and that is what I say, that it is a disgrace that it could happen. But in general, racism is not of this world in my opinion, but if we are to be realistic, unfortunately, it still exists, and that is the dangerous side of it. We have to deal with it in the here and now, and like I said, I am here for Antoine whenever he needs it, and we are here as a club to deal with it in the best way possible because it shouldn't happen. What else can we do? Because this is the very odd one that has managed to be something that is a disgrace, and the only thing we can do is deal with it with him personally and try to educate the next generation. But that is the only way to try and kick it out, in my opinion. It's tricky, but that is the only way we can try and kick it out.